Gary Stewart.
We're going.
It is 6:30 on, I don't even know what date it is. Thursday, the 27th of July. Jeez.
In the year?
Board meeting for the Vernon Hills Park District Board of Commissioners. Could I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Kessler.
Here.
Commissioner Robbins.
Here.
Commissioner Moline. Commissioner Blue.
Present.
President Dorhoeffer.
Here, if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is the omnibus vote agenda. Items under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If a separate vote on any one item is desired, it will be pulled from the omnibus vote agenda and voted on separately. Items in the omnibus vote agenda for this evening are the minutes of the regular board meeting dated June 22nd, 2017, and payables less Granger and payroll through July 27th, 2017, the amount of $780,152.82. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Blue.
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler.
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the financial reports for the period ending June 30th. Marla, any changes to the financial reports? They're on file for the public to see.
All is good.
Next item on the agenda is the welcome to visitors and guests, public comment period. Hello there. If you would like to come up to the podium, if you could give us your name and address, and you may address the board.
My name is Joanne Gerlach. My address is 92 Depot Street. I'm a resident of Centennial Crossings, and I am also the landscape chairperson for our board of homeowners. And I'm here on behalf of the board and some of the residents in our area who are voicing concern about issues of the 3 parks that we have in our area. Most of you know that our parks, the 3 that we have, are very central to our neighborhood, and the houses, most of them, a large percentage face inward toward these parks, and so they're considered an extension of the front yard or backyard of these homes. This year, I've been getting a few inquiries about why is the grass so weedy, the lack of mulching, and the weeds that are growing in the beds. We have not had any playground play mat put down for I don't know how long now. So the weeds are coming up in the play areas where the equipment is, and we would like to see some mulch put in there. Something I've been having a conversation with Mr. Kim is replacing the pathway lighting. We have 12 receptacles that we are responsible for as a board. You have 4. What we're trying to do, because they're deteriorating, is we want to coordinate with you in going forward and replacing our share with a common look that you are also going to do. So I am talking with Mr. Kim about that, and we will go forward. If you lag behind, that would be fine, but I think what we want to do is come to an agreement on the style so that we are all in this together.
Makes sense.
Okay? Other than that, the place looks pretty good. We're really happy with the amenities that we have. We have one, I don't know if somebody's heard about this, but I have a resident. You just planted new trees in Donnelly Park. And one of them happens to be planted in the point that has always been very open, and kids play baseball and soccer there, and now there's a tree, and I think it's been the last 2 weeks since that tree's gone in. The kids don't play there anymore. And it's a great thing for the kids because the parents can open their front doors and they can see the kids right there playing ball. And so they were asking, since the tree has been so newly installed, can it be uprooted and moved to a different location other than that large expanse that is west of the gazebo?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you.
Another spot at Donnelly?
Pardon?
Is there a spot that might be better at Donnelly? So we don't have to go.
If you want to give me a flag or I think I might even hand some landscaping paint at home. I can mark out an area, and you can decide if that's a good area. Would that be acceptable to you?
Acceptable, yes.
I can do that like this week and just keep an eye on it as the grass grows. I don't know when you'll get around to doing it, but sooner is better than, waiting for those roots to take hold.
Oh, I agree, yes. Okay.
Okay? Thank you very much. That's important to have that play space for the kids. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And then the next big thing that we're having a problem with are the 2 gazebos. I don't know when the last time was that they've been painted, but the one that's in Central Park, which is kind of the focal point of our neighborhood, is missing some of its red shingles. And that particular, I'm looking at it right there. The spindles on that one are more ornate. They're turned. They're beginning to break. And so homeowners are wondering, can that be replaced? I've noticed that the one that's in Donnelly has different spindles. They're just more up and down straight. If those spindles need to come off and a more utilitarian straight up and down spindle goes around the whole thing, that would be cool. As long as it's starting, it's maintained. And the one that's in Donnelly, the decorative molding around the base of the pillars that hold it up, a lot of those have fallen off, and there's a lot of decay going on. So, again, it's more the maintenance of the area and keeping it from looking tired. Nothing's falling down, but it's been years since that has been maintained. And then the one last thing is we had a resident speaking toward Rainey Park, which is right off of the Route 45 entrance. There's a bunch of trees that are tagged to be taken down, I'm supposing. They are curious to know when that's going to happen. It seems like those have been marked for a while. And then there's one tree on the back property line of a house there that is leaning like 45 degrees into a bunch of other evergreens that I'm afraid if it falls, will take out the really nice evergreens. Is it possible to get that one tagged and removed at the same time as the other ones? I don't know if that is homeowner property or if that's your property. I'm assuming it might be yours.
Yeah, James,
We can take a
at
look at that tree, and those trees are tagged to be taken down probably in the fall.
Okay,
It's a little beyond us, because they're very tall and thin, so we're having some contractors look at them for us.
okay, great. So I'm going to assume that most of my issues are being, dealt with by you?
Yes, the gazebo, actually, we've ordered metal pylons for the one at Donnelly, and then we're gonna decorate them with cedar shingles, and then spruce that up, and the other one, we're gonna do at the same time. We're gonna shore it up, paint it, replace some of the shingles. The spindles may not be as decorative, but we'll try our best to make it look the same.
I mean, as it stands now, both gazebos are totally different looking.
Yes.
Spindle-wise, so, and I don't think that the community really cares which way, they just want it to look like it's maintained. So,
James, do you have a timetable when you're doing that?
The metal was ordered 2 weeks ago.
So this fall?
Soon, yes, oh, yes.
Okay.
and then I'm thinking in my head, because we have a lot of things that we like to do that need to be done in our community that are easy things, and I would like to start like a community pride day where we as a community select, say, Earth Day, to go out and pick up, branches and twigs so that we can have a contractor come in and shred them. Is there anything that we are allowed to do on Park District, land, like, is it feasible for us to lay play mat? I mean, if you guys dumped it there and we spread it, or if it moves things around, along so that, we're both appeased?
I know this sounds, I like to say weird, but we're contracted to have about 200 yards worth of mulch delivered, and the two playgrounds are on the top of our list, so that's good, including many, many other playgrounds in our district.
Okay,
In terms of a community day, Sullivan Woods had one last year, I think it was, and they just contacted us, and we provided trash bags, pickers, and they just left it on the path and we picked it up.
so it was basically garbage?
At Sullivan Woods, yes, it was just basically, all garbage and car parts, unfortunately.
If there's anything you got in mind, we'd love to be a part of it. The only thing we can't do is like spreading the mulch because there is a safety requirement there. you have to be certified to make sure we're meeting the safety requirements of the equipment. But other than that, if you've got plans you'd like to do, hey, can we do this? We'd love to be a part of it, and let us know
Right.
how we can support you.
Right, okay, because help thyself,
Exactly.
If you want to see things happen quicker, I'm willing to raise my hand and say, hey, if you'll allow me to do it and maybe pay for the material to be there, whatever is involved, I can probably rustle up some help. But that is something that we're looking at and we're going to be discussing at our next board meeting. So I'm just want to make sure that there's not a liability issue for us going forward, with your permission, to do certain things.
As long as we know what you're doing and how you're doing it, and we can sign off on it, you're fine.
Okay. All right, that's it, thank you.
Thank you very much. Continuing with the welcome visitors guests, we have some employee recognition this evening. If I could invite Gail Herman to come to the podium, and Gail, if you could please bring Christina Gasper.
Sorry, we have a visitor.
Okay.
We have a surprise.
Oh, okay. Maybe your grandson will like
Sully?
it. Sully.
Hey, Sully.
Hi, Sully.
Nice to meet you.
It's the mascot for the Park District.
Hello, Sully.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Sully.
High five. High five. This is our board president, Dave Dorhoffer. He's over here.
Welcome to the Park District. Nice to have you.
Wave to everybody. Okay, so let's
See you at the next event.
Let's go eat some honey.
Cute.
Little baby's going, what?
Likely wasn't screaming. There's a lot of kids too.
It's my pleasure tonight to be here. It's a very sad night for me also, but to honor Christina Gasper and to introduce you right away to her family, her husband, her son, her daughter-in-law, and her grandson. All the way from California for the son, daughter-in-law, and grandson. Happened to be in the town tonight, so it was wonderful that they could come, and this is who we're losing her to. Her family and her daughter and son-in-law, granddaughter, and future granddaughter. And, the pull of that is just too much for her. I can understand that. So, anyway, Chris started at the Park District in June of 1981. If any of you remember, she taught out of the Deer Pass Center. Very small little room with a teacher named Laura and a teacher named Esther. She taught there for a few years, and I believe Laura and Esther left and left Chris in charge. When this building opened in 1992, she was virtually the dance coordinator, dance instructor, and has been doing that position since that many years ago. It has been my pleasure to work with her for 18 years. She is the consummate professional. She is the refined lady, lots of grace, wonderful person. We're going to miss her. She has been a fine role model for all the families and the children in Vernon Hills who she's taught dance classes for so many years. So I'm sad to say goodbye, but I wish her much, much happiness in her new time that she can be with her family. I'd like to give you these beautiful flowers.
Oh, thank you.
You can stand off to the side.
Yeah, you can stay up. On a personal note, you not coach, but you, yes, it is. You taught my daughter to dance many, many years ago, so. So on behalf of the Park Board of Commissioners, I have a certificate of appreciation awarded to Christina Gasper for 36 years of service and dedication to the Vernon Hills Park District Dance Program from 1981 to 2017. Thank you very much for all you've done for the Park District, the young ladies of this community. It's truly amazing. Thank you very much.
On the podium, I think,
Right.
Dave, if you want to, Gail, you want to jump in there and we can get some pictures?
Should we maybe just pass these off, so.
Whatever you like, it's your home.
We kind of
dollar recital in the spring also.
That's very nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, you don't want.
Thank you so much.
Thank you and congratulations. Enjoy. Next item on the agenda is reports of communication. Executive Director Jeff Fusro. Jeff?
Thanks. I just have a few things. It was nice. Want to thank Gail and obviously Chris for her 3+ decades of coaching kids to dance. Trust me, it's the same thing.
It is.
There's no doubt about it. A lot of things. So she's done a great job, and Tom and his staff and Gail have just recently hired a replacement. So we're going to be doing some work to get that message out, because our dance program is a significant leisure activity for us at the district, so we want to continue that as well. You got a lot of information on Rib Fest that we'll be sharing with you tonight, but we're just a few weeks away from that event. And then tonight you'll have 4 presentations on the Hawthorne Club from different vendors. And then we've got 2 scheduled public meetings, one this Saturday at 10 a.m. to noon, right out at Hawthorne Club Park, and then one Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. And we've sent out several hundred postcards to the neighborhood. We've had it all over social media, just trying to get people to come out, just let them know about that. We continue to work on the accreditation process, and I say we, it's really Amy who's spearheading that whole project for the district. We have a dress rehearsal with our mentor is Margaret Resnick, and so Margaret will be working with us on August 8th, Tuesday, August 8th. She come in. That's pretty much a full day process that we go through so that we're prepared for the final presentation that we'll do before the panel, probably mid-October. We're expecting to do that. Just an update on the preschool classroom that's taken some water in over the last, I think it was around early July when we first got hit up with that flooding issue. So we met this morning with W.B. Olson and Williams Architects and Gowalt, James and I, to just go over the new scope of work that they're going to do to correct that. So we're comfortable with the design. There's no cost to the district on that. That's on them. So we're looking, they're going to actually start some early work next week. And then most of the other work that'll take place the week of August 7th. So we'll feel a lot better that this 8-inch pipe that went unnoticed, that had been filling up with water time after time, and you never know. We certainly were fortunate in some respects that it was contained to that room and not below our gym floor in another area, because we just, where this pipe is located, where it's cracked, we're not really sure. So I'm working, James and I are working with Lori Vero, that was the landscape architect that the board design approved last month for the new Dragon feature that'll go on the south end of Kids Castle. So that project is scheduled to go out to bid in late August. I think there's a bid opening around the 10th or 12th of September. So we'll present that to the board at that time, and then, look to begin construction on that. We got the fitness center, a lot of work going on right now with just some office remodeling, but then we close on this Monday, well, Monday the 7th, not this Monday, the week of for shutdown, extensive cleaning, and we've got some carpeting and some other essential things that we'll be doing. The Peak 21 lacrosse tournament, that's a tournament that Tom and his staff work with an outside vendor to put this tournament together. It's held in midweek and midweek. I think it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in June, usually mid to late June. So we've been getting a lot of parking issues brought to our attention by some of the residents, some of the village staff. So we're going to meet on August 8th, I think it is, to talk with the village and the police chief about just some efficiencies that we can do moving forward to potentially at least get some of the parking issues resolved, or at least better suited for that particular neighborhood. Lastly, what's not on report is just I'm working with 3D Design initially on the Century Park South property, what would be referred to as the OPA site, just to get some initial scope of services put together in a contract form from him. Conversations with the village, initially just village staff. Basically, what we're talking about is, some kind of a concrete plaza that would facilitate the stage, a large stage area that we would use for Rib Fest or summer celebration, a restroom on the site. The condition that we put when we signed the agreement with the village, when we acquired the property, is we had to put at least 35 parking stalls on the site. So that's in there. Some pedestrian lighting, some signage, removal of the basketball court, that would come out. Then some landscaping and some path work. The village, if you just to refresh you, the village wanted 20 feet of right-of-way along Hawthorne Parkway and Lakeview Parkway for potentially some future just traffic issues. So what Dan Dalziel did with me conceptually, and I'm sorry I don't have apologize for the original design that he presented a couple years ago, had removed the sidewalk along Hawthorne Parkway and Lakeview Parkway around the perimeter of the park, so you had some berming. So imagine walking down Hawthorne Parkway in front of Bristolian, where they have their new little building, and there's a nice public sidewalk. Well, now you get into the parking lot that we would put in, and then the 8-foot path would be inside and take place of a public sidewalk. So people could still walk around the perimeter of the park, but you take that design into play, knowing that right-of-way is going to come back down the road. And so you have a path work around the perimeter of that. So essentially, it's a 3.5 acre site. You've got some path, you've got some parking, most of the rest is green space, and then some kind of concrete pad. Dave Brown and I have talked about what's now the festival grounds, where you have all those brick pavers that are all sunken in, and most of the time they're weed infested, and it's just, if you recall, I think it was probably 10 years ago, we tag teamed with the village and we did an aerial design of our logo and the village's logo, that if you looked at it today overhead, you still couldn't tell what it looks like. But we've talked about putting concrete in there instead, just pouring and getting rid of the brick pavers. So, but that's not part of this design, but that's a project the village is interested in working with us on for future use, so it's something we should look at. And then, just relative to what we just experienced with summer celebration and all the flooding, it's a low-level area, and so how do you get away from, if there's ways that we can improve drainage on that festival grounds for future use, something for us to talk about while we're going to be tearing up and excavating this whole site. It's probably a good idea to at least consider and look at. So I just wanted you to know that I'm working with Dan initially on just getting some thought out there, because this particular project is being funded out of fees that we get off the CUNYO, developer fees off that. So CUNYO is starting as we speak, and so we should start seeing some fees come from that. Now, the fees we're receiving, if you remember, we negotiated that because of that park that they supposedly put in, so we have $650 coming our way on that, and so that's over a 2-phased period. Jim, I don't know if you know when that's to commence with the building there at all?
There's signs up, but they haven't started anything yet, so.
Okay.
They're moving dirt.
No, I know.
So if it's 128 homes, do you know what the phase scheduling is? So essentially, we're not looking at probably doing any development on that site in 2018. So it would be planning, through the end of this year into early next year, and then once the funding starts coming in, then we can start, trying construction. Because construction on that project would take about 6 months probably from start to finish. So it'd probably be spring of 19 before we would start doing anything there, knowing that the funding would all be provided for us for that. Any questions on that? That would conclude my report.
Any questions for Jeff?
A couple.
Commissioner Robbins?
You got a button there? I think you do. There you go.
Any idea when the village would be doing their construction of the street around that area that we would have already developed?
So the village doesn't have any plans initially
Okay.
on that. They just wanted to make sure that any plans we did on the park, that 20-foot right-of-way was considered. So we signed off on that on the IGA we did with the village a few years ago when we acquired that property. That was a condition of the IGA. So I have no idea when and even if they're gonna do it. It's just, it's a right turn only coming off of Lakeview Parkway that I think they're trying to widen. And Jim, I don't know if you've ever heard any of these conversations in P&Z. There's a lot of traffic that builds up at that intersection at peak times, and so for us, from a design, it just makes sense for us to bring the pathways internal in the park and not have to deal with it after the fact.
So then we wouldn't be spending a lot of money in that area that the village might take over in the future and
No,
redevelop on?
because the right-of-way is their property, Bruce, so they can do with it what they want. So we have to make sure whatever design we do, we have to leave that 20-foot easement
Okay,
there.
I see.
You design around it. You just say, this is gonna be something in the future, we leave it alone
Gotcha.
and take care of everything else. Any other questions for Jeff? Commissioner Kessler?
So if we move the path inside, it works well if you're walking from Rust-Oleum or walking around our park. But if you're coming from the south or coming from the east from that shopping area, and you're gonna go to our park, you have no point of access except for grass. So I guess I'm a little concerned about somebody coming from a different direction. How would they enter into our park?
Well, it's a good point. I think once we get into drawing it up, we may have to talk to them about incorporating some kind of connection,
Right.
to that. But
You need a sidewalk across the street, right, for the people coming?
to me, I first think like where we have our redwood sign now that we just put in. Okay, so if you imagine that's all bermed all the way around the perimeter and you can't get access to it from, say, you're walking from the dollar store across the street and you're trying to get in, you're probably gonna have to walk to the south side of the street.
I see kids with bikes, I see people walking to the high school, to our parks, or to the water park. I know people are taking that on their bikes to get there. So I feel like, and that's just a little flag that's going up in
Yeah,
my head.
yeah,
to
it's a
make sure
good,
we
I mean, it's a good point. But I'm thinking now, if the village takes Lakeview Parkway and they add somewhere down the road a right turn only lane, how is that gonna impact a sidewalk maybe that you put in if they start taking another, 20 feet that they need to do a turn
Well,
lane?
sometimes they have they still may have a crosswalk.
Mhm.
And so there's one there now, and I imagine that's gonna need to stay
Yeah.
there. So whether they put an island and then have another little crosswalk to get across the right turn lane. I mean, I don't know, and I guess it's worth making sure we
I'll
understand from
talk
the
to 'em.
village before we start getting too heavy.
Yeah, all I've done so
design.
far is just give me the scope of services, and then we haven't, at this point, I gotta make sure that the village is on board with what they wanna do, and then we'll start putting design together. So I haven't, authorized the contract yet at all. I wanted to just share some of that with you, first, okay?
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jeff?
Did you enjoy Sully's quick visit?
Sully is very impressive. A little quiet.
Yeah,
Quiet.
we had a new Sully tonight. As you can see, those little bear claw things, Cheryl got those. Those are, Sully will be handing those out at Ribfest. And they'll have a little bag of chips with
Little
them.
bag of barbecue chips.
Chips that we're gonna hand out, yeah.
Very nice.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is Finance and HR Superintendent Marla DiCarlo. Marla?
Evening. Just a few comments for you tonight.
DeSico, I'm sorry, you said DiCarlo. DeSico. I'm sorry.
I caught
It's Italian either way.
DeSico.
Thinking about wine.
The field work has been completed for our fiscal 17 audit. I will say this is probably the easiest 4 days of field work that we've ever had. One of those reasons for that is we're slowly moving to having more and more of our files electronic. And so we were able to actually have our auditors go right onto our financial software and look at invoices rather than us digging through boxes and pulling out invoices. So that was a great change. To date, there's been no concerning issues found, and we don't expect that to change. So I'm sure we will be receiving another clean bill of financial health. And they will be presenting in, at the August board meeting, I believe. No, I'm sorry, September, the September board meeting. And then I just wanted to give a thank you to Debbie Minsky and her new partner, Kirsa Dosk-Megan. They did all the processing, which is in a very short time period for all of our seasonal and part-time staff. And they've been working really hard to improve all of our onboarding processes. So that also went very smoothly this summer. And that's all I had to report in the sessions.
Commissioner Robbins.
Marla, couple questions. I just want to make sure that, you know, we're properly insured on our investments. We have a certain amount, almost 3.6 million invested in 15 certain CDs, which averages around $240,000. Do we actually have 15 $240,000 CDs?
Yes.
So that
yes.
we're under the...
250 is what we.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll allow ourselves to go up to for.
Good. I
the,
just want to make sure it was
FDIC
evenly...
insurance. Yes, yes. You're seeing cumulated totals.
Right.
But they're all separate CDs.
Good. And on that account where we have $1,825,000 overnight in an MB Financial Bank investment account, are we insured, you know, if something happens?
Yes, yes.
Okay, why is that? Is that one account?
It's the money that we need for a cash flow basis for paying payables and payroll. That is accessed as needed, and then the money proceeds to this other account to allow us to earn slightly more interest.
So there's a sweep account?
Yes.
Okay. The sweep account, though, does that have over $250,000 in it?
It does, but we're insured totally separately than how we're insured on CDs. We have insurance from the bank that fluctuates as the highest number that we hit. Sometimes I'll have to add to it, but we're fully insured for all
Okay.
money that's held in
Great,
it.
thank you.
Any other questions for Marla? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Recreation Superintendent Tom Ritter. Tom?
Good evening. Well, I feel like it just started, but summer is actually on the downslide, unfortunately. But as our adult sports leagues, meaning men's softball and co-ed softball, come to a conclusion, we quickly transition to fall softball leagues. So if anyone's interested in putting a team together, to contact Jay Bowman here at the Sullivan Center. Our fall leagues will start in late August, and they play their games at the Vernon Hills Athletic Complex. In addition, we have historically had a very successful adult basketball league, which plays in the winter, basically January through March, somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 30 teams. We're going to try a fall league. There's been some inquiries from some of our past teams about playing in the fall. So anyone interested in putting together an adult men's basketball league, I believe it's more on the recreational side than on the competitive side, if people are curious if there are different levels. But that league would start in September. Next Friday, August 4th, will be our annual Summer Splash community pool party, as I like to call it. Be held from 5:30 to 8 o'clock at the Family Aquatic Center. We do close. Please make note, if you are a regular pool attendee, that we close on the 4th at 4:30 in order to clean up and prepare for the event that night. Tickets are available online, or they can be bought at the Sullivan Center. It's $4. If you choose to wait till the day of, it's $5. And we've had a successful inflatable games area that we added in the last couple of years, and this year those games are included. You don't have to buy separate tickets for them. It's free with your admission. And we'll have our annual duck race as well, where we have the ducks go down the slide, and we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 prizes to give away. It's always a great highlight of the event. Probably the last time I'll report this, it's Rib Fest is right around the corner, as Jeff alluded to. It's going to be our 7th Rib Fest, August 18th and 19th. It's from 6 to 11 p.m. on Friday and 4 to 11 on Saturday. We have 6 rib vendors. One of them is a new vendor this year called Superb Grill. They are more of a catering organization. They don't have a storefront, but they have a lot of experience doing festivals. They're based out of Round Lake. And our music lineup for this year, on Friday night at 7 o'clock will be Billy Flynn, who is a Chicago-based blues guitarist. And the headliner at 9 o'clock is Lurie Bell, a very well-established, also blues guitarist based out of Chicago. Saturday night at 5 o'clock is the Red, White, and Blues Band to get everything started. 7 o'clock is Laura Rain and the Caesars, which is a Detroit-based blues band. And the anchor for Saturday night at 9 o'clock is Danielle Nicole, which is her 3rd time coming back to this event. The first couple times it was with her brothers as part of a band called Trampled Underfoot. She has been nominated and won several awards nationally for her talents. Her voice impresses many people. She always has a big following after her show here, and we're proud to bring her back. Ribfest is $5. Children 5 and under is free. All tickets for that event will be sold at the gate. There's no pre-sales, so just bring your money for admission at the event. And if anyone wants to see more information about the event, frequently asked questions, etc., we have samplings of the different artists posted on there for our entertainment. You go to our website, vhparkdistrict.org/little-bear-ribfest. A quick thank you for everybody who came out to our first Flick and Float movie at the pool last week. We had about 150 people in attendance. Very simple, but very nice event. People just floated in the water and watched the SpongeBob movie. So thanks for coming out for our first event. We plan to do that on an annual basis. Our second movie of the summer, probably too late for the announcement here, but it is tomorrow night, Friday the 28th of July, over at Deer Path Park. We will be showing Storks at dusk. It's free, so grab a blanket, grab some snacks, and come on out. And good news, bad news. The good news is our after-school program is extremely popular. The bad news is it's sold out. So if anyone's interested or looking for after-school programming or childcare for this coming school year, we encourage them to get on the waiting list here at the Sullivan Center. When the school year starts, it's very common for people to drop out. They'll commit to the program, they'll make the deposit, and their needs change, so we usually end up clearing a good chunk of the waiting list once the school year starts. And that's for both elementary, north, and south have waiting lists. And just wanted to add to my report, we started pickleball in the spring. We did it on 2 weekdays here at the Sullivan Center, and we were getting anywhere from 6 to 12 people coming out, and 12 people actually fills the gym because you play doubles, so it's 4, and we had 3 courts. So we were getting 6 to 12 people, and then summer we had to shift because of camps. We did a weeknight, and now we've had as many as 27 people show up with a wait. So we're going to continue to do the Monday nights into the fall. It's in our brochure. We're also going to bring back the 2 weekdays. And we'll do our best. There is interest to add days, but we do have an additional gym, which is wonderful, which allowed us to do pickleball at night. But we're going to do our best to try and find a second night somehow. But it's been very successful. They've been very happy, and we're really I'm proud of how that program has grown so quickly. So, and again, for those listening, if they want to play pickleball, it's Monday nights from 6 to 9 p.m. here in the Sullivan Center gym. And when the fall, in September, we will also be bringing back weekdays for those that can do that during the daytime from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock Monday and Wednesday. And finally, at the dais, you have a little one-page report. Is it up there, Amy? Did they all get this? Yeah. Okay. It's just a little program enrollment comparison. I'd like to do this quarterly for you just to see where our program enrollments are compared to previous years. Summer is a little unique because our traditional fall, winter, and spring classes most of them kind of step back, and summer becomes swim lessons in the pool and day camps. So the summer one's a little bit unique. But so I've highlighted our key program areas, swim lessons, day camps, dance, adult athletics, and karate, just so you can see how our numbers have compared. The far right column shows how many individual classes we offered each year. In the fall, I will also be adding a cancellation report to give you an idea of what percentage of our classes are getting canceled or being held. And I'll give you more details on that later. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me about that. And that's my report for this evening.
Any questions for Tom? Thank you very much. We're going to deviate a little bit from our current agenda, since we have some presentations tonight, rather than make our partners wait any longer than they already have. If we could have Play Illinois and Mike Maloney, if you'd like to come up and present to the board. The presentations you'll be seeing are the new playground for Hawthorne Club, going up sometime late fall, early spring, October-ish. So, Mike, if you could.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me tonight. My name is Michael Maloney. I'm a landscape architect, a playground designer, and the founder of Play Illinois. We founded this company to try to bring excellent playground and play value.
Yeah, pick up on the video. Oh, okay.
Hi, I'll start over. My name is Michael Maloney. I'm a landscape architect. I'm a playground designer and the founder of Play Illinois. Our mission at Play Illinois is to bring play to children and communities throughout the state. And we do that in a number of ways, one of which obviously is designing and providing playgrounds. We help people with fundraising, and we also help people with installations when they need that. So I've been involved in the park and recreation industry for 30 years, and my entire career has been surrounded and encompassed with basically park and playground related activities, design and construction of parks and playgrounds. I work a lot with BCI Burke as a playground manufacturer. I think you guys have a great design from us. I think at this point, I know we're still doing some evolution with this design, but it's gone back and forth a few times with James and his team, and it's evolved into a design that has some of my very favorite playground components. I'd like to start by telling you a little bit about BCI Burke. Burke is located in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. They're the oldest manufacturer of playground equipment in the United States. There's a few things that make them unique, and one of them is their design and construction, how their playgrounds are assembled. One thing you won't see with a Burke playground is clamps. A lot of manufacturers you'll see that use clamps. And clamps can often be used as handholds and footholds if you've seen clamps holding pieces on playgrounds. Burke has invested heavily in a system that does not use a clamp-style playground. As a result, it's a cleaner look, and it's, in my opinion, a safer look because people aren't using those things to try to climb on, and it's very durable and easy to install because of the not having the clamp system. Generally, with clamps, installers are measuring where the clamp should be. If there's any kind of error in that measurement, sometimes it can create safety hazards. So I really like the Burke playgrounds as a result of not having that clamp system. They have one of the best warranties in the industry. They don't prorate any kind of issue that happens. If you need a replacement part, there's no proration. So if a part is warranted for 15 years and it should wear out from heavy use or break or anything, at 14 years, Burke will send you a new one at no charge, and that warranty starts over from that day for another 15 years. So we often see these playgrounds at 20 plus years that are still in really great condition. I'd like to talk a little bit about this design. It does, like I said, have some of my very favorite components on it. What I like to do with playgrounds is provide a lot of different activities, but Burke's slogan basically is play that moves you. So they try to be very movement-oriented to get kids moving through the playgrounds in different ways and in an effort to stay active and fit. We put a lot of effort into having different activities in a playground that help people in different ways, help kids develop in different ways in terms of strength, balance, agility, and a lot of social interaction within the playground. This is an environment where kids really can learn a lot about how to relate to people and how to grow as individuals. Some of the key items in this design, I'm just going to kind of work through them from this side across, and I could throw another board up and show you a few things on that one in particular. This is a really neat component of the Burke design. It's what they call a teardrop table, and there's a bench, and there's benches on both sides of it. And what that does, it's a newer item for them, but what it does is it brings some seating into the playground. It gives people, kids, adults, an area to sit down, relax for a minute, and just be part of what's going on out there. So it's kind of a really unique feature. Most of the time, you'll see benches on the outside of a playground, and I'm sure many of your parents, you took your kids to the playgrounds, and if you were going to sit down somewhere, the bench is over there and the playground's over here. So this is incorporating some social interaction and allowing parents and caregivers to be part of the playground environment and kind of relax and sit down and just be by themselves. This piece here is a climbing piece. It's designed a lot like a climbing wall. So you'll see this. You'll see a similar piece on the younger kids playground, but it actually has handholds and footholds like a climbing wall would have. So again, it's a very strength and balance oriented component, and I really like it. I like to use it in my designs. One of the features of a lot of the Burke playgrounds is the double and triple slides. These slides are 8 feet tall, so sliding is one of the things that kids like to do the most. They love going down slides. They can multiple kids can start at the top and sort of race down. So those are activities, that just kind of bring kids together socially. I'm going to jump over to the other side, and the playground sort of evolves from a post and deck structure to a more of a fitness-oriented structure, what we call the intensity line, where it's a lot of it is ground-based, so kids are able to face each other face-to-face and play on equipment, very social, very at times competitive, where kids are trying to move from one area to another without, say, touching the ground. They play hot lava, like the surfacing. If you fall on it, you'll burn. So it's just a fun activity. But there's a variety of climbing elements here. There's net climbers, and there's balancing components. You'll see these kids out there balancing on these pods that move around. So we try to incorporate a lot of strength and agility activities into the playground designs. This particular design has 2 structures. It has a 2 to 5 and a 5 to 12, which are the CPSI oriented age groups for children. We also have 2 and basically 3 bays of swings. There's 2 tot swings. Are the swings in the?
They're in the second page of the top left.
Second picture here. So in the top left, you can see back in the corner, there's a swing set with the tot swings, which are your bucket swing for younger kids, the belt swings, which are really popular, and Burke has a really nice ADA swing, ADA compliant swing. So if there's any special needs kids that might need a little more comfort or almost restraint in a seat, there's one of those as well. So I just thought I'd throw that out and see if anyone has any questions. I could talk a little more about the specifics of the design, but if anyone has any questions about our company or Burke or the design, entertain your interest or concerns or.
Commissioner Kessler.
Curious if there's no shade structures above any of the playground. Was that anything you were leaving out for a reason?
No, it's still an option. We've tried to shade. We can always add that to our design. We are generously under budget right now by about $2,500 more or less. So there's some money to add some things. We like to try to get a little feedback, and that's a good question. If that's something you'd like to see, we will be moving forward. This is sort of almost the beginning of the design process. So shade is an important component, and you like to see that. Burke has about 6 different varieties of shade, so we'd probably like to show those to some of the community, at some of the community meetings, and give people a feel for what the different types of shade options are.
Jeff, what parks do we have that have Burke right now? Do you know, James?
None.
Yes.
No
Spot,
parks.
Okay. Any other questions for Mike? I think it's very straightforward.
Okay.
Mike, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I guess to close, I just like to say, you know, we'd like to show you what we can do in terms of design evolution, but we did try to work and present as many basically play elements as we can. There's 42 different components on this structure. We try to give people a lot of play, what we call play value. So there's a lot of different activities and different things kids can do while they're on the structure. The user capacity is 194, so this playground could handle a big group of people at one time, should there be special events or a lot of kids in the area. And I guess that's all I have. Yeah.
Very good.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you. Mhm.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Take a couple seconds while we reset for our next supplier.
Thank you.
What's our push to talk?
The budget's 100 total, but I need to save at least 35% for installation and mulch. So we're looking just under 70.
65,000?
65 to 70, yes. In terms of product, yes.
All right. If we can bring the next vendor in, if we can move that board.
He showed is that, are we going with that surface or not?
No, this is just regular mulch surface. It's just a rendering because they have to.
Fair enough.
Something we need to talk about. The board in place is getting a lot of really positive feedback. I know it's expensive, but I get it.
You put board in place on Hawthorne Club, we got 100,000. You're gonna spend over 100 to put board in place down, and then you're not gonna get any equipment.
Details, details, details. All this
What do you need
budget.
equipment for?
Cindy's gonna tap dance while we wait for our next.
Hi, Sue. How are you? Yeah, you wanna come up?
Next to present for us will be Reese Recreational, representing Play World, Suzanne Cook.
I'm not a technology person, so, but they're giving me technology to use, and I think it's gonna help show what we have to offer, so. My name is Sue Cook, I'm with Reese Recreation. I have a presentation here, we have what we call an e-binder. I'm gonna start with, where's the mouse?
You put it spinning, it's gotta stop.
I know, well, I can't, because I don't want, oh, here we go.
I think if you click, yeah.
There we go. So I'm with Reese Recreation. We've been in business for over 50 years. We're located in Arlington Heights, Illinois. We've carried the Play World line for about 3 years. It was previously handled from a rep out of Southern Illinois, and we needed more coverage in Northern Illinois. So we partnered with Play World and have been selling this product product for about 3 years. I know you have Torrey Pines, that's Play World equipment. It was just replaced recently, I think, from vandalism. So that is a Play World park, so you do have one of our parks, equipment in your park. Play World is a company that really believes in building equipment to advance play worldwide, to develop meaningful relationships between kids and help them socialize. They have quality materials. The big thing here is we're 99% PVC free. What that means is that none of our products have PVC in them, and when you go to tear those products down, you don't, disposing of them is a much easier process. Again, with vandalism, you don't have to make the site a hazmat site because there is no PVC. Very durable products. I lost the mouse again. Rust resistant. We do impact testing, wildcard testing, which is randomly testing it at extremes, weight load testing, because we know multiple kids, the equipment has to be durable, eco-friendly. We are the only cradle-to-cradle certified manufacturer of playground equipment in the industry. 96% of our waste is recycled. We reduce energy. This is a big certification that we go through. It's a big initiative. Everything in our company has to be certified and proven to meet these standards as far as not only our equipment, but how they do procedures within the building. And service, great people, fast delivery, and rapid response time. So I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time clicking on all these because I wanna get to the playground. Because I wanna make you dizzy. This is, this is option 1 that I'm showing. And as you can see, there's 2 to 5 structure over here, 5 to 12, and then some independent play pieces. I'm gonna go to the image gallery and show these. They're a little bit less intimidating. Here is the 5 to 12 structure, and I'm just kind of, I'm gonna talk more about each individual structure in a different area, but as you can see here, this particular structure, this layout was geared towards a nature environment. There's the different ways to access the equipment, not just stairs. Here's the timbers, the rocks. If you look at another view, you can see on the other side, there's this climbing wall here. I think what I like about this structure in particular is when you look at it from this view, you kind of look at it and you don't know where to start. It's not your typical piece of playground where you just like run upstairs and start. There's just multiple ways to get up this piece, and it's really unique in a sense that kids aren't just forced to go up one way. The 2 to 5 area over here is really, it's based on linking and climbing. It incorporates balance, but the real unique thing here, this climber, if you can see on this side right here, when kids start climbing, they're climbing one step at a time. And this piece here is for younger kids, early developing, and then as they get older, here's a more random climbing experience. So it helps them develop spatial awareness and coordination. Now we're gonna go to, I'm gonna touch just on each of these. We can pull up and I can show you kids playing on each of the pieces so you can get an idea. You all have this link. I'm not gonna go through and read every component of it, but I just wanna show you some of the highlights. This is the Triumph climber. Here's the kids playing on the balance track. And I think just showing the kids playing on this equipment is really important. You know, the imaginative play that they're climbing rock. the slide, spinning. And here, each of these talks about the developmental benefit of each of the products. This Unity spinner is actually, I'm gonna go back to the Unity spinner. It's a brand new piece. And this is actually the old version. This piece here, you can see there's two little seats, so to speak, right here. If a child has a disability or needs a harness and they need support, you can actually harness them in and they can participate. I think it shows somebody, yeah, right here with a harness on. So it's a real inclusive piece.
For extra challenge for the kids when they're playing. The seat actually has a 2-degree slope and allows for.
And then swing. So this talks about all the different developmental reasons why parks are equipment, or why parks are important to developing, for kids developing. So that is option 1. And go to option 2. I'm gonna go back to the flyby. I'll show you option 2, get you dizzy again. What's really big right now are ground level playgrounds where everything is at the ground level. It offers a lot more play activities. The first piece or the first layout I showed you had 32 play activities. This has 40. And it's just because you're not spending a lot of the money on stairs and ramps. Here's the image gallery for option 2. So this is the 2 to 5 area. This home dome is another piece with the climbing challenges, where the kids start climbing at the same foot, one up, one down, and then they alternate the rungs here. These have the linked little seats for the lollipops, and again, the balancing. So these all incorporate balance and climbing and overhead development for kids, young kids that need that to develop. This Unity slide is kind of a different take. We watch kids play on slides and we realize that a lot of the times they like running up the slide. So we give them a different way to get to the slide and just a different look to a slide.
So they're supposed to climb on the slide through the outside?
Yep.
Where do they drop in?
They have to figure that out. They could drop down the front or they can go down the back. And I'll let's see, let's go back. Yeah, they can either come and climb down this way or they can go down the back and come up. So I am going to go to play richness on option 2. So you can see some of this is the home dome. This is 2 to 5-year-olds. This is probably one of my favorite pieces. It allows them to role play, interact. They play in their own little private space, and it's just a cool little 2 to 5-year-old piece that they just love. Both of these designs have a cozy cocoon. This is a really good piece because it allows a child, if they need to decompress and get away from playing, they can go in here, and this is really good with kids with autism. Again, this is a real popular piece, and we offer it in a variety of different standalone or attached to a structure. This is a unique piece. It's called Rushmore. This is part of our Unity collection, and they're just trying to give the kids a different way to play. When you look at it, you don't know what to do with it. But, just watching the video, you can see that they figure different ways out. There's balancing on here, there's climbing, there's just all different kinds of things they can do with this. Play King of the Hill. Here's a spinning piece, which it's required interaction between the kids, so they have to work together to get this piece to work. This is kind of a new version of monkey bars. And instead of giving the kids like a straight bar that they just hold rungs and go down, it gives them the opportunity to climb and hang in different patterns. I think what this layout is trying to do is offer the kids a look they've never had before, a unique, what do I do on this equipment, and make them really work to play on it. So, any questions?
Any of this type installed anywhere? Option 2?
Yeah, Blackhawk Park and Des Plaines is similar to that. And the 2 to 5 piece that's in the first option is actually installed at that location. Another Oak Brook has this Unity Rushmore. They don't have all the pieces, but they've got this piece at Centennial Park in Oak Brook. Just trying to think off the top. There's a lot of these home domes in.
No shade structures?
Shade.
Shade,
As far as on the equipment,
yes.
no. I mean, we do have it as an option. Usually I don't put it on unless it's requested.
Commissioner Kessler?
I'm curious about that Mount Rushmore. Are kids falling through as they run up? It looks narrow, the little ramps, and
Like,
just wondering, no, the 11,
yeah,
or, no, not that one.
I think it's this, is it this?
No. Oh,
There
yeah.
it is.
It's really not that high.
It's not that high?
No,
Okay, so
it's only like 3 feet high.
I guess I just imagined someone running up.
Yeah.
But, okay. The other thing is, I was a little unsure of those lily pads, those high things.
The lollipops?
Lollipops. What are they doing in between?
Those are, I'm gonna go back to the image gallery and show you. Let's see.
Option 2.
They're
That was
called-
option 2.
Oops.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
little swings.
How do you swing?
Well,
They're more like
So they're
chairs.
like rock-
They're just
more
like,
just
they're like
rocky.
hammocks.
Like rocky benches.
Yes.
yeah, they're like, they call them a sling seat. So it's a seat,
So it's more a place to sit?
Yeah.
And
but
rock?
but there's a little bit of a rock there for a child. I mean, it helps with their balance at that young age. It's we put these under a lot of our structures for just socialization. It's a way to link these fun little lollipops and give them a little bit of functionality. A mom could sit there and watch her kids.
Commissioner Robbins?
Just wondering what the cost was for option 1 and option 2.
They're both, I don't have I emailed the quotes, I don't have the things.
Both are below budget.
Yeah, they're both below budget, or right at budget, I think, is what I designed, 68.
Thank you.
Option 1 is 65.2. And option 2 is 63.9.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Anything else for Suzanne? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity.
Have a great day.
Okay.
So, is Lainey here?
She might be. We can go to her, and then we.
If she's here, we'll go to her. If she's not,
Wrap up. If
Yep.
she's here.
Cindy's gonna tap dance again while we fill right here,
She
so.
was scheduled to go, I think, at 8 o'clock.
8, yep, right,
We did,
that's fine.
5 minutes in between.
All right,
So I think we're back on schedule.
Is Laney here? I don't know, he's ran away.
No.
All right,
If not, we can go
the,
ahead. We can
the
go
next
game
item
times.
would be Cunningham Recreation.
She's not here, you wanna do, game times?
Yep.
You wanna do you wanna do that real quick?
Yeah, why don't Jeff and James, if you could
So,
present what, our one vendor was unable to attend, so they briefed our staff, and staff will be briefing the board on, what they have to present.
Okay. You want to take the microphone? Yeah.
This is game time?
This is game time, yeah. Which is Cunningham Recreation.
Straight to this view. So I'll be talking on behalf of Doug Oberoi for Cunningham Recreation. This is a game time piece. They did a Peterson Park and Aspen Backyard, so their design is a little more traditional, I guess you'd say, with platform stairs. On the 2 to 5-year-old, there's a rock climbing wall that gets up, there's a slide, and he's got an interesting little climber here. It's got little slots in it. Their footholds on the ends, but it's not open in the middle. It's kind of hard to see in the drawing. So it's a little more challenging for kids. And they've noticed kids actually slide down it, which is interesting. He provides 3 swing bays, 2 buckets, and then this new product, which is an ADA for a 2 to 5-year-old, this small one. It's raised up a little higher. And then a 5 to 12 ADA swing, and then 2 belt swings. Over on the 5 to 12 structure, he's got several slides. Those are 8-foot platforms. And it steps down to a 6-foot platform to go across a bridge to a 4-foot. He did put in an Ionics line, which is the one at Peterson Park, right here, this climbing. It's hard to see in a 3D version, but it's like a dome. There's 3 sides. This is they're monkey bars, but it's not rigid, it's flexible. So it's a little more challenging. And one of the concerns that Jeff and I did bring up was it goes from a 6-foot platform and you can't walk across. It is designed to walk across to the top of the other one. They find kids are gonna do it, you might as well make it for that purpose and make it safer for them. And so they've designed it as such. He put in a couple of the color roofs, as you can see on the drawing down below. Sometimes it makes it look like a butterfly, and he illustrated that. That's basically it, really. If there's any questions that I can pass to him, unless I can answer them right now.
That's it? This is,
This is option 1, yeah.
okay.
Doug couldn't make it in some.
Presentations go a lot shorter when you take the salespeople out of it, you just put the product in front.
I mean, they've been in business since
It
19.
seems like there's nothing there compared to the other 2 presentations.
So you got 4 slides. You got a monkey bars that you can walk across as well. You got what'd you call that, the cave?
Oh, the Ionics line?
Ionics.
Where is that, Peterson?
At Peterson Park, yes, on the 2 to 5, the newer one.
You use it all?
Yeah, we were just there. There are tons of kids using it, trying to jump from like Ninja Warrior style from thing to thing. It's
We also have at Peterson, that one swing,
the expression swing, yes.
expression swing.
Which
She
is-
knows where, you can put a toddler or your child in one, and then you're on the other side. So
Yep.
you're facing each other as a swing.
Yep.
And you could do that you could put that in any of those bays there.
Yes.
And take out one and put an expression swing in there. They actually, I think he said they're just coming out now with,
The smaller ADA one can be done the same way. So there'll be a
see
regular
where-
belt swing with this 2 to 5 smaller ADA swing in the same fashion.
All right, I know you can't ask, or I don't recall, this has 3 bays for swings,
Yes, so it's
which is nice. How many did the others have? Do we,
2.5. So there was
Both of them.
5 instead of 6.
okay.
Did the first one have swings?
Yeah, he had it up
Yeah,
in the
they are.
corner
They were
on
in the
the,
back.
Oh, I missed it.
in the back,
Okay.
yeah. He didn't, you could not, it was not very visible, but he did have 5 swings total.
5 swings.
And I think what I'm hearing tonight a little bit from the board is a question on shade.
Yes.
Okay, and so we don't tell the vendors specifically that, this is a wide open sunny, we need shade on it, otherwise we would have done that. So some of them, like even in this one, Doug had said, look, we can throw a roof on there. Roofs are gonna, be a few $1,000s. They opt to put more play equipment in features because you can't really do much with a roof, and they would, if we wanted to do something. But Hawthorne Club it's not a real sunny park. It's pretty decent
There's
shade.
not a lot of trees there.
It's, where it is tucked back though, it's not like a wide open area that we've seen a lot of problems with sun there. There's a gazebo there.
What's that?
Some parents put suntan lotion on.
Put suntan lotion on it. Okay,
They have a shelter there, little,
I left some wiggle room for a shade
There is
structure
a
too.
shelter there, so that is true.
But it's certainly something you can put on there.
And I'll just, so the monkey bars 6 feet off the ground that you can walk across? And they're-
Well, this platform is at 6 feet, so yeah, technically they can walk across there.
Is that, I
It's
guess
within
that's
standard.
all-
That's the standard.
They're doing it
And
anyway.
if you go to Grosse Pointe, they're sitting on top.
Yes, they are.
Of the roof that's on top of the slide.
Which
so-
is very hard because you have to firemen climb up the
Yeah,
pole.
and they do it with ease.
Castle on the top of the turret, which is 16 feet?
16, 18
Where?
We
feet.
have, at Kids Castle.
Kids Castle,
We
yes.
we have kids that like jump off of that. And when we had a lot of water in the park, we even had kids jump off it into the water.
Okay.
Yes, we won't name who. That was my son. I'm wondering who these wonderful children are. They're jumping off into the water, and my son comes home and goes, "Oh, that was me."
And
Great.
this playground is priced at 66, and then all in total will be 67 after freight and some other discounts that we might get.
Oh, Peterson's new. Aspen's been in, what, couple years?
It's been a couple of years.
How's it holding up so far?
They're holding up good. They've sent out repair parts for free, and heavily worn that they know they should. So which was a nice surprise on our end that I didn't get a bill.
We're getting heavily worn after 2 years?
The pods that are a circle with a pole in the middle, kids yank on them really hard. So the connection at the footing, we've had to replace a couple of those at Aspen.
Okay.
Nothing at Peterson yet. And they just ripped the expression swing bucket, but that's misuse. We had that in stock, yeah. But other than that, no, we've had no issues with their new products.
Any other questions for Cunningham Recreation? Thank you very much. If we can go get Laney.
She's here.
Yep, she's here. She's walking in.
Okay. So you do not have anything in your files from Laney? Those were not sent in part of your packet because she wanted to surprise her presentation.
It's a surprise.
All right, camera, Jim.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. How you doing, Commissioner Moline?
No less than terrific.
Welcome, Mike.
Wow. That's a good day.
Mike, you want something to drink? You want
I'm good,
soda,
thank you.
water, or anything?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I stacked it with
What?
Mountain Dew, so we're good.
Oh, you brought your own Mountain Dew in?
Yeah.
Well, still, nobody else drinks that. Sometimes people get their hands in that. It won't be me.
Who would that be, Tom?
Was that? Tom drinks Mountain Dew.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm a Pepsi guy, but I drink Mountain Dew. Oh, yeah.
Fine. How are you?
No,
Yeah.
fridge.
Oh, they're in the
Good
fridge.
time. I know I know you're a little early. We're good. We should schedule a meeting.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes up.
Laney. Hi, Laney. Hi, Tom. How you doing? Good. Welcome to the new boardroom.
Oh my gosh, the whole facility is just amazing.
We're all ready for your surprise.
I'm so excited. Did James tell you guys?
No.
Oh my God. I've had more fun doing this playground. So let me just get everybody's stuff here. She can help you pass out. Or each of these to the board? Yes. And I made extras.
PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah.
PowerPoint presentation? The first one?
Thank you.
Yes. Unless everyone wants to see my cool vintage playground pictures.
You mean the one for MIPE?
Cupcakes, right? You always bring good
I
stuff.
have no time to wait. July has been a killer.
You do it once and I always remember.
Good.
She once brought up.
Hi, how are you? I'm
They call it red velvet.
So this is a sticker. I made two options. So this is a copy of the PowerPoint. And then you have portfolios to go along
Oh, thanks.
with all the designs. Will be the best place for me to put all the boards.
Right behind you.
Okay.
Start with right behind you, and we'll go from there.
Trying to think which is first.
We need a second easel?
Do you have one? It might be, or you know what, I'll just take a chair. So what I did is I made two boards. One is an overall of what the method to my madness is, and one is.
We got a second easel, we'll get it for you.
Take a breath. Yes. Okay, well, thank you all for having me. Wait, James, where?
Just click to go next.
Okay. Thank you all for having me for the Hawthorne Club renovation. I do have to pardon myself first. There's a couple typos with Hawthorne. Some of them had an E at the end, and I just didn't have time to get them reprinted, so I apologize. I made a quick little PowerPoint that we'll go through that'll help you walk through all the different designs. So to start out, here is a picture of what Hawthorne looks like now. My first concept is our X Design Tower. Our X Tower is part of our new Edge line, and it's something we just came out with. And you'll see here when we go through everything, this is actually a 14-foot enclosed tunnel slide that goes all the way up to a 14-foot deck. One of the neat things about the X Tower is there's all different ways to climb up. So within these diamonds, there's rope towers. So within the X Tower, you've got all these different rope towers that the kids can climb up to get through. I did two new Edge designs. I wanted to give you guys the latest and greatest stuff that we have, and none of your parks have any of this stuff in it. So with that said, let me go on to our next. Wait, I can't see.
Up.
You know what, let me just use the arrows. Yeah, I think it might be a little bit easier. Thank you. Okay, so let's let the adventure begin. So this is actually what the park will look like. So that's the New Edge X Tower. And as you will see, some of the key features that we have for the Adventurous X Tower, we've got our metal curved roofs, we've got all our swings included, the 14-foot slide, we've got a double wide slide. The Revolution Spinner, which you'll see a little bit more a little later, is our new 10-person merry-go-round. It holds 10 kids. There's also an ADA inclusive seat on there with a harness so the kids can transfer off of their wheelchair or walker and get on. Great thing, holds 10 kids. There's a lot of interaction, and it's bringing all able-bodied and disabled-bodied kids together. Stand and Spin and Alex's Lemonade Stand. Are you guys familiar with Alex's Lemonade Stand? Okay, well, you'll see a little bit more on that, and if you remember at IPRA, we had our lemonade stand there, so we're very passionate about that, and I'll explain that a little bit more. So here's some individual shots of the X Tower. Again, there's the 14-foot slide, and you can see the different rope towers to get up. There's deck-to-deck climbing activities, and there's also a plank bridge that goes underneath the top bridge that you can see. So it has all different types of interaction for the kids to play together. We've got a different variety of climbing levels. The first picture on the left is our new log climber. Those are actual polycomposite resin that look just like logs. We've got our X climber, which is super neat because the kids go up one side of the plank and they come down. So there's two different play patterns that they can get up and get into the structure and play. And then we've got the new lumberjack climber, our X climber, which is super neat. You can see that picture in the middle with the little kid in the orange. That's got a rope, plus it also has an overhead X climber so the kids can challenge themselves either balancing without holding on, climbing up the rope, standing up, going under. So it's a variety of challenges for the kids. Here we've got our ADA features, and this will go for both of the playgrounds. We've got our Revolution Spinner, we've got our inclusive seat, and then we also have all different type of ground level interaction panels for the kids. This, Little Tykes has partnered up with a company called Biba Play, and what Biba Play is it's taking our smartphone and incorporating it into the playground. So there's over 20 games on these free apps that you can download. All of our Little Tykes playgrounds are now going to be coming with the Biba program. So you'll have a sign outside that says that this is a Biba Park. And the caregivers or parents can download the app onto their phone. It's a free app, and there's all different interactions of games that the kids can play. We're trying to incorporate more physical activity and getting the kids, you know, it's inevitable. They're all on their smartphones these days and their iPads. So we're trying to get more activity with the parents involved in the playground too with the kids. So here's a little video that will show you the Biba game. It tells the children to go to a different climber or a slide, and then they come back and then they get to tap on part of the game that they're playing. One of them is a dinosaur, and a dinosaur hunt, and as they go to different placards, they get to come back and blow on the phone or scratch it and get different dinosaur bones to build their dinosaurs. Kids can interact together. They're also coming out with inclusive games. And one of the neat things about the Biba program is you guys as a district will get feedback from Biba on how that park is being used, how often it's being used, what time of day it's being used. You might notice that one of the slides isn't getting zapped on the Biba, and that could be maybe that the slide is broken and it's not being used. So there's all kinds of useful information that you can get from Biba. And there's more information in there. And as I said, it's free. All of our Little Tykes playgrounds are going to be having them. When they go to your park that has the Biba entry sign, it will also tell them what other parks in the community that have Biba, so they can go and interact more with other games. Okay, now I'm going to go on to my second option. Does anyone have any questions on this?
Any questions? Nope, go ahead.
Okay. This is my second option. And one of my favorite things about this is in the center of the playground, we have a tri-rock. It's a polycomposite resin material, so it's not made out of concrete, so it won't be super heavy. My favorite thing about this is it gives the kids so many different play patterns to get in and interact in the playground. So there's 3 different access points. These are 3 different deck heights, and they can climb on the transfer station up the rock and get to 3 different play patterns within the playground, and you'll see that in this next video. Did we put more trees in than there are?
The mountains.
Okay, another one of my favorites about this design is we go up to a 96-inch deck and we have our hypersonic slide. Our hypersonic slide has such a steep pitch and a long bedway that when you go and watch the kids go down it for the first time, their expression on their face is just magical because the pitch of the slide is so steep that they don't realize what a fun ride they're gonna have. So hence that's why the long bedway there to slow them down. We really tried to bring nature in. There's an electronic animal sound panel in there with all different animals and the sounds that they make. We've got our stand and spin, solo spinner, the tri-rock, and then we also have off the 96-inch deck, which I don't know if you noticed in the video, we've got our new rope tower. Here's the Alex's Lemonade stand, and we've got our new time warp bridge. And that's a really good picture of the tri-deck. So you can see how it is in the center of the playground, and then it has 3 different play patterns for the kids to go. There's the hypersonic slide. And it is a thrilling ride. The picture on the top right is our new influx climber. It almost looks like a shark fin that goes up on an angle, so it's really challenging for the kids to climb up and around on that angle. In the center, we've got our time warp bridge, and then on the left, we've got the new rope tower. Okay, so Alex's Lemonade Stand, everyone's familiar with that. Does everyone know about Alex's Lemonade Stand? So, Little Tykes partnered up with Alex's Lemonade Stand, and for every panel of Alex's Lemonade that we put on our playground, they're gonna donate $100 in the honor of your park district. At NRPA or IPRA this past year, we had an adult lemonade stand, and in the 2 short days, we raised over $2,200. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that was actually Alex's 21st birthday last year, the day that we were doing it. So, what more can I say? We do this all for the kids. Questions, comments, anything?
Any questions for Lainey?
Right, I'll have a general one.
Commissioner Kessler?
A lot of times the smaller age range is separate from the larger one, but this looks all connected, which is nice, but is that a concern?
What I did is there are lower elements in lower decks. From my experience, and what I'm seeing kind of a little bit of a trend is the littler kids do always want to play with the bigger kids.
Well, I always felt that no matter what age your kid is, they're always going to
They
have
wanna
your
be with the big
equipment.
kid.
So I didn't know, it seems like traditionally there's a smaller one and a larger one, so, and this seems connected, and I'm just curious on the philosophy on that.
Well, as I said, there are lower elements. You can see here, we've got lower elements for the kids on this end, and the other playground has lower elements too. If you guys are interested in this design, I would be happy to take it a step further and make a separate 2 to 5 for you. It really all depends on the park, what we're trying to accomplish, the budget, and the space.
I've never understood the 2 to 5. I don't know any kids that play
No
on
one
the
stays on one set anyways, I
Kids all
agree.
go to the bigger stuff anyway, so.
And these are both within the budget?
Yes. I don't think we had
You're just a little over, but.
I don't think we had a
If this is chosen, then we would tone it down.
Yeah, and I would go, I would fight for free freight for you guys or whatever I need to do. I don't think, James, did we have a set number? Or it was kind of,
66, 68, below 70 for sure.
okay. And I think I might be a little over, and I'd be happy to tweak that for you guys.
Which option is over?
Well, they both are over. 173,000.
74.
And 177,000, so you're substantially over.
Substantially over. And I can, as I said, tweak that. If you guys want to go with one of these designs, I'd be happy to tweak it. And these were priced out with NJPA, so you will see there's a significant discount in there already. But as I mentioned, if this is something you want to go forward with, I'd be happy to tweak that for you.
NJPA is National Joint Powers Alliance, they're a purchasing group.
Yeah, you guys are, I think every playground we've done with you guys, we do it that way. It's great because with this budget, it was able to give you guys a 20% discount.
Any questions for Lee? What kind of tweaking do you do to get it within budget? How much of the playability is going to take a hit?
Well, it really wouldn't take a playability. Like on this one, we've got 4 roofs. I might change out, delete one of the roofs. Like I said, I'll go and get free freight for you guys. That is a pretty good chunk on these too. So I would really have to sit down and take a peek at it. I really don't want to change the integrity of the method to my madness on this. So maybe, for example, here we have this curly climber that's got a treehouse panel. I might just delete that treehouse panel and put the curly climber there. That can bring the cost down significantly. I think a treehouse panel curly climber like this is maybe $1,700, $1,600, and without it could be $800 without the treehouse. So there are ways that we can keep the integrity of the design, but yet bring the price down.
Any questions for Lee? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Oh, I have one more question.
Oh,
Yes,
Commissioner
Cindy.
Kessler.
Are any of the swings, are they all bucket or ADA?
There's tot seats, belt seats, and inclusive.
There is?
Uh-huh.
It did not, it doesn't look like it from the diagram. Am I missing it?
Pictures don't.
Pictures don't necessarily.
You know what? It snapped on the wrong seat. It's a belt seat, but it should have been a tot seat. I mean, an inclusive swing seat. Yeah. Gotta love our new design program, huh?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And I'm gonna leave this stick with you guys, so you can have the PowerPoint.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Oh, good, I was worried.
That will conclude that portion of the meeting. We will go back and pick up where we currently were. Let's go to Marketing Communications Manager, Cheryl. Cheryl,
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. They can hear me, right?
Yeah, that still helps.
Good evening, everyone. Just to let you know, our fall brochure is going in the mail next week. So for Vernon Hills residents, you should be receiving it to the end of the week, around maybe August 4th or 5th, within a few days of that. Our annual report, our fall brochure also includes our annual report. It's a pullout, and we'll also have some extra copies at our facilities and also on our website. As Tom mentioned, Rib Fest is in full bloom over here. All of our media has been placed and submitted. Our Facebook ads will begin tomorrow and continue on throughout till we have Rib Fest. And we'll start seeing, about mid-August, we'll be seeing some of our print ads and also our digital ads through the newspapers will begin actually the first of the month. So that's in full swing. You met Sully, our mascot. Hopefully he'll be making short appearances in the summer, maybe a little bit longer in the winter when it's not so hot. But he's been well received for the small time he has been. We did take him to a few camps, and that was a lot of fun. I think we did put a little clip on Facebook with that. But some of the little kids weren't quite so sure. The girlfriend's camp, they were just all over him. So, yeah, summer celebration. So it's a him. Sully's a him.
We had decided.
Sully's a him. Yeah. So we don't have our separate Ribfest website anymore, but we do have a tab on our homepage. So it's getting activity. It's a little bit lower than last year at this time, but I think people know it's there and we're advertising it, so I don't think it's going to be a problem that we don't have a separate Ribfest website this year. Cassidy and I have started for National Park and Rec Month and hopefully continue on some community outreach programs. We read about them. We thought they sounded fun, so we're choosing parks. We've done it twice already this month. We give it just about a day or two notice on social media in our facilities, and we just show up at a park and we do a craft. We bring all the supplies and all the kids. We just invite them in to come do something with us. So we painted rocks one time, and another time we made bird feeders. And our next one will be sun catchers coming up soon. So that's been fun. And as you can see, I know it's been a long night. We've done a lot on social media with advertising our programs, and it's been very successful. Is there any questions for me tonight?
Any questions for Cheryl?
Nope.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Next item on the agenda is Park Superintendent James Kim. James, welcome back.
Well, thank you, and good evening. Thank you for taking the time out for all these presentations and the good questions and feedback. There was a lot of good comments out there about our board, so thank you. I'll touch on some things that I didn't write about. Recently, we met with School District 73 with their staff and their engineers here at Sullivan Center about their kindergarten addition. They're just trying to look at our utilities and where to connect. And they're gonna start doing some soil borings as early as next week in the wetland areas to get an idea of the hydrology of the soil. Want to point out National Night Out is Tuesday, August 1st at Hartman. The Park District will be helping out, setting up, and providing some support. The Vernon Hills Public Works Open House will be August 30th at the Public Works facility, and we'll be having a table with an equipment. It's more of a touch-a-truck and advertising what the village has done for the residents. We're starting to plan with the soccer club the Labor Day tournament over at VHEC. We're meeting with Kevin, Jay, and some of our staff and going over some logistics, getting it together, and making it another successful year for them. The park maintenance facility, we had a fuel remediation tank borings this past week. We hope that these findings will be available for review and be sent to the IEPA by Labor Day, and then they'll have 6 to 8 weeks, or 12 weeks actually, to respond with any recommendations, and then we'll know where we stand with them. The fishing pier at Century Boat Dock has finally been removed after some severe damage a couple months back. We'll be making a recommendation to replace it as is, unless there's something else that the board would like to see. A lot of the welds that were on the fishing pier failed, and it was poorly constructed. Some of the posts themselves were not more than 4 or 5 feet deep. They should have been more like 15 to 20. So this was going to happen eventually, and we're just thankful that didn't happen with someone on it. Shade structures for Kids Castle have arrived. We're trying to install before the end of July, but it's not looking hopeful, so we're gonna try to get on the schedule as soon as we can. We're doing 3 shade structures over the Stampcrete where the benches are. We're trying to utilize the south end so we get as much shade as the sun goes over. And that concludes my report. If there's any questions.
Any questions for James? Just thank you to you and your staff for all the water in the parks, and everything survived great, so really did a nice job.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Lakeview Facility Manager, Mark Purcell. Mark?
Good evening. The office renovation is underway, as has been mentioned a couple of times. They tore out the carpeting and the drop ceiling today. I've been upgraded to a office with a hand dryer, which is a very useful combination. But everything's been going so well. There's been a pod put behind Lakeview to put most of the things into storage, and probably for the next 4 or 5 weeks, I'll be doing the renovation work. Shutdown is gonna be from August 7th to 11th this year. Once again, this year, Mundelein Park District is kind enough to allow us to use their facility for all of our members during that time. They had their shutdown about 2 weeks ago, and we let them reciprocate, so it's a nice agreement between the 2 agencies. We had some new carpeting going in, we have a new functional fitness piece going in, and a new cardio piece should be delivered. So there's gonna be a lot of new things for the members to see when they come back in. We're only shutting for 5 days this year. Normally, we're shut a little bit longer for the pool, but don't need to do that this year, so it'll be nice for the members not to be displaced for as long. We belong to something called Active Rewards, which is basically a free program for product distribution. I mean, we've had Cheerios before, we've had mouthwash, we've had personal trainer kits. So we had 3,000 bags of Blue Diamond nut tins that materialized about 2 weeks ago, and it took about 6 days for our members to take advantage of all the free nut tins, so they all disappeared. It's kind of something fun for them. Swim lesson participation this year. I have an update that Robert gave me today. We hit 400 for our summer swim lessons this year, which was good. Last year we had 388. Swim team is up to 97 from 79. I think one of the things that we saw last year was some of our higher levels aged out, but it seems like the lower numbers have kind of moved up, so we're higher, which is good. And very exciting news is that at the conference championships at Hawthorne Woods last night, the Turtles came out victorious, got first place. First time since 2014 out of 5 teams, so there were a lot of pictures being taken, and Robert was smart enough not to give his cell phone up for a picture because he knew if they did, he'd end up in the water. So it all went well last night. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Mark?
I have,
Commissioner Robbins?
Mark, I'm just a little concerned on your statistics. Looks like we have a drop in visits compared to 2016, and drop in sales compared to 2016. What is this attributable to?
A drop in sales?
Well, yeah. Am I reading this on the?
Are you talking about the
visit?
drop-ins?
Oh, I see, it's drop-ins, I see, drop-in. I'm sorry, I thought it was a drop in sales.
Oh, a drop in sales.
Okay, no, because I
It's
saw.
a poor choice of phrasing, I think.
Right. Because I saw the 2017 visits are down compared to 2016 visits.
Correct.
So
But yet the
that's why I
sales are
started-
up.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Next item on the agenda is Commissioner and Committee reports, communication, there are none. Board correspondence, we received a letter from the Village of Vernon Hills. It says, on behalf of the President and the Village Board, 4th of July Parade Committee, and the community, we would like to take this opportunity to express our sincere appreciation of the Vernon Hills Park District for outstanding assistance we received in support of the Vernon Hills 4th of July celebration. As in previous years, we would like to express our continued appreciation for allowing the use of Century Park for the fireworks. The Band of the Black Watch and the South Shore Drill Team were great additions to the parade lineup and was enjoyed by both young and old. Music in the park with the Big Fun Band is becoming a local favorite. The district's generosity and the funding of these groups helped make this year's events a success, and we hope the partnership will continue for many years. This event is largely dependent on the assistance of volunteers and members of the community. Coordination and communication between village organizations is tantamount to the success of community events, and this year was no exception. Thank you for all your support and assistance during this year's events. And it's signed by Joseph T. Carey, Assistant Village Manager, and Lisa S. Fleischbach, Assistant Administrative Assistant. So thank you all, and staff as always, thank you, and fantastic job done. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We have none. We've already taken care of the new business with the presentation of the playgrounds. Next item on the agenda is the 2017 IPRA report card. Could I have a motion to approve the 2017 IPRA report card?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Why are we having to make a motion on this? I thought this was just a survey to analyze our,
I'll let James.
I mean, I went through it, but I just assumed it was more a,
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a measure
us
stick
an
on where we're
idea.
at compared to what they would like to see park districts be. But for our accreditation purposes, we would just like the board to adopt and acknowledge that.
I
So
didn't see
we're
that
part
was
of
the
people.
last little line down there.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Meline,
Yes.
Commissioner Baloo,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
President Dorhofer.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the Agency Administrative Manual Review, Appendix C, Personnel Policy. Could I have a motion to approve Appendix C, Personnel Policy?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Baloo,
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Meline.
Yes.
President Dorhofer.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 7-17, an ordinance declaring as surplus and authorizing the sale or other conveyance of surplus property, personnel property of the Vernon Hills Park District. Could I have a motion to approve surplus ordinance 7-17?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Meline,
Yes.
Commissioner Baloo,
Yes.
President Dorhofer.
Yes. WW Granger invoice. Could I have a motion to approve the WW Granger invoice in the amount of $163.44?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Meline,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Baloo,
Yes.
President Dorhofer.
Abstain. And finally, Commissioner comments. Commissioner Blue,
Nothing this evening.
Commissioner Moline,
No, thank you.
Commissioner Robbins,
Nothing.
Commissioner Kessler.
Nothing.
And finally, for myself, again, to staff, thank you very much. As many of you know, I wear a couple of different hats, and one of the hats I wear is the tournament director for the Stingers, and staff was just phenomenal in getting the fields ready, everything they did, support, making sure garbage is picked up, just absolutely incredible job last weekend, so, or 2 weekends ago now. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of both the Stingers and as well as the board for keeping up a very good reputation for our community. So, thank you. And with that, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.